as a part of continuing to honor our 20 years of impact here, we wanted to bring back an old friend who was a part of the early years of our region. John White, a 1999 Teach for America alum, served as executive director of the same role I'm in now back in 2005 to 2007 here in Chicago. These years were critical to establishing our work and credibility as an organization. After, John went on to serve as a superintendent of the Louisiana Recovery School District and recently ended an 8-year tenure as Louisiana State Superintendent of Education. He was the longest serving state education chief in the nation and achieved remarkable results for his students. I'm thrilled to welcome him here tonight to share his reflections on this current moment in time, given his experience.
Well, thank you, Anish, and it's great to be back. Congratulations to Teach for America Chicago, Northwest Indiana. I have a lot of great friends, hopefully some of them on the line, still back in Chicago, and I'm honored to be here with all of you this evening. Also, congratulations to Jennifer and Justin and the incredible things that you and so many core members and alumni do in Chicago. I wanted to just first acknowledge this moment as I sit here in New Orleans. This is a tough time for our country. It's a tough time to be in public service. It's a tough time to be in public education. It's a tough time first because, as Jennifer and Justin so eloquently gave voice to, it's even hard day to day just to stand up an education system, and that's a demoralizing thing in a way unto itself. But it's also challenging because we know that just around the corner, when we get back face to face with our kids, we're going to have a realization that probably we all know top of mind already, and that is that our kids have lost something very deep. They've lost something emotionally, they've lost something in their community, they've lost something intellectually and academically, and it's our job to give it back to them. We also know that this year's graduating class, as Justin gave voice to, is more challenged to transition in a coherent and thoughtful way to the next step of life than perhaps any in a generation. And that's going to pose challenges for them in their individual futures and for our society and for our economy and its future. I actually think we can come out of all of this a better education system than we went into it. I think we can come out of it better if we begin to be candid with ourselves and recognize that some of the things that we're seeing have existed for generations. And maybe this crisis is a moment to begin to understand them better. Maybe for those of us who can pay for our own kids' childcare, we now understand better the incredible burden and necessity that is childcare for all working families, for all families in this country. Perhaps we can better understand the challenge of just having a good curriculum and the importance of having a good curriculum and of school systems and school leaders and states actually assuring every family in this country that they can validate that they have a high quality curriculum with which to teach your child every day. And it's high time that we realize that every time we graduate, and we do graduate more and more kids every year, but to some degree, we have no idea what happens to the kids who graduate, especially those who aren't immediately bound for four-year colleges where they can safely pay and socialize. That too many kids are taking on debt and dropping out of school. Too many kids don't even go to school or have a secure path to a good first job in the first place. And that we do have a dropout crisis still in America. It just happens to be among many high school graduates. We can use this moment to understand those crises that have been latent in our education system for generations, but we can only do it if there's real leadership at work in this country. That's leadership at the school level, leadership at the school district level, leadership at the state level, leadership in our elected officials, leadership in the commercial environment, and in our civic and philanthropic leaders. There is simply no way that we're going to go from this public health crisis to a better moment over time, educationally and otherwise, without fantastic leadership. And so I tell you, as the longtime leader of a government agency, as a participant in fabulous public service environments like working for Michael Bloomberg in New York City, that the necessity of Teach for America has never been higher. It has never been more important than the public servants of this country and the public educators of this country be called to the highest calling that there is, which is to serve this country. Teach for America is the nation's preeminent vehicle for public leadership development and for leadership in public education. I know because when I was state superintendent, 2/3 of my leadership team was alumni of Teach for America, and we were making progress in one of the nation's most poorly educated state, faster than virtually any other state in America. I'm greatly proud to call myself an alum. I'm very grateful to all of you who are on the call this evening to consider your commitment to Teach for America. I hope you'll double down on your commitment to Teach for America, especially in this moment. Chicago needs it, Louisiana needs it, and our country needs it. Thank you so much for having me.